Am I the a-hole for being angry that my mom said she wishes she'd met my stepfather sooner, erasing my dad's memory? I, 16F, feel like I'm losing my mind because my mom doesn't understand why I'm upset, and the more she defends what she says, the more it hurts. I'll start from the beginning. My parents were high school sweethearts. They met when they were 16 and 17 and stayed together through college. They got married when they were 22. My brother, 20M, was born 2 years later, and then I came along 3 years after that. From what everyone says, my parents had a good marriage. Not perfect, but full of love, laughter, and that kind of we grew up together bond. They had dreams of traveling, buying a little lake cabin someday, all those one-day plans couples make. But when I was 3, my dad died in a car accident. I don't remember much of him, just fragments. Like a song you can't quite remember the words to. I remember his voice reading me bedtime stories, the smell of his aftershave, how he'd carry me on his shoulders. My brother remembers more, a lot more, and I think that's part of why this whole thing hits us differently. After Dad died, everything changed. Mom was broken for a long time. I have memories of her sitting on the couch late at night, staring at old photos, crying quietly. My grandparents helped a lot back then, especially with my brother and me. For a while, I thought things would never feel normal again. But then, when I was around 4, she met my stepdad. She met him at work. I remember because she started smiling more, dressing nicer, humming while she cooked. My brother noticed too. He was 8 at the time, and he didn't like it. He said, "She's smiling too much. It's weird." I didn't understand then, but now I kind of do. They got married 5 months later. Just 5 months. Everyone said it was fast, but Mom said, when you know, you know. They had 4 kids together. So now there are 6 of us total, my brother, me, and our 4 half-siblings. I'll be honest, my stepdad is a good guy in a lot of ways. He's kind, responsible, and loves my mom. He never treated me badly, but he never really felt like Dad either. He was more like a very nice adult who lived with us and occasionally tried too hard. He would say things like, "I wish I could have been there when you were born," or "If only your mom and I met sooner, I could have watched you grow up." I used to think it was just something nice he said to sound caring. But then it became a pattern. Mom started saying the same kind of things, only deeper, more personal. She'd tell people, friends, relatives, even strangers sometimes, "I wish I'd met my husband sooner. He's the love of my life. If I could erase all the other relationships I ever had and only ever be with him, I would." The first time I heard her say it, I froze. I was around 13. She was laughing with one of her friends at a barbecue, and she said it so casually, so freely, that I thought maybe I misheard. But then I caught my brother's face, and he heard it too. His jaw tightened, and he just walked away. Since then, I've heard her say it about 7 times. My brother's heard it even more. He says 10, maybe 11. Every time, it's like a knife twisting a little deeper. Because when she says she wishes she could erase all her past relationships, that means erasing Dad. And if she erased Dad, that means she's erasing us. She probably doesn't think about it like that. But how could she not? I tried to brush it off for a while. I told myself maybe she didn't mean it literally. But then she'd say it again, and it felt more real every time. My stepdad would always nod and smile when she said it, like they were sharing some romantic fantasy. Sometimes he'd even add, "Life would be perfect if that were true. We'd have all 6 kids together from the start." And I know he means well. I know he's saying it like, "I wish I'd been there to love all of you from day one." But what I hear is, "I wish your dad never existed." It started to make me dislike both of them. My brother's feelings are stronger. He straight up hates our stepdad and can barely talk to Mom without getting angry. When I was 15, things with my brother got worse. He went low contact right after he turned 18. He'd text Mom occasionally, mostly short replies, but refused to come home for holidays. Then last year, he went full no contact. He blocked Mom and stepdad on everything. Mom's been devastated about that. She keeps saying, "I don't understand why he hates me. I gave him everything. I just want to talk to him." She doesn't know exactly why he cut her off, but I do. He told me. He said he couldn't keep pretending that hearing her say those things didn't kill him inside. That it felt like she buried Dad twice, once when he died, and again every time she said she wished she'd never met him. A few weeks ago, Mom decided she wanted to fix things. She said she was afraid I'd go down the same path as my brother, so she suggested family therapy. I agreed, even though I wasn't sure it would help. I think part of me hoped maybe she'd finally listen. During our second session, the therapist asked Mom what she thought caused the distance between her and her kids. Mom said she didn't know. She said, I don't understand what happened. My kids used to be so close to me. Now my son won't speak to me, and my daughter barely looks at me sometimes. I feel like they've turned against me. The therapist asked if she could think of any comments, actions, or events that might have hurt us. Mom said, No, I can't think of anything. I've always been honest and loving. That's when I spoke up. I told her that it hurts when she says she wishes she met my stepdad sooner, that it feels like she's erasing Dad and, by extension, us. She looked surprised at first, then defensive. She said, Oh, sweetie, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant I love your stepdad and I wish we'd had more time together. I said, But that's not what you say. You say you wish you could erase all your past relationships and only ever have been with him. That includes Dad. She frowned and said, Well, your brother, I can understand him being sensitive about that. He remembers your dad. But you were 3. You don't even remember him. That hit me like a slap. I said, Just because I was little doesn't mean he doesn't matter to me. And just because I don't remember much doesn't mean he didn't love me, or that I don't love him. She sighed and said, Your stepdad is the only dad you've ever known. You should be grateful for him. It shouldn't bother you this much. I said, It does, because it's still wrong. If I died and my kids were little, I wouldn't want their stepmom to wish I never existed. I wouldn't want my kids to be erased like that. She shook her head and said, You're being dramatic. You're taking something romantic and twisting it into something dark. I said, Maybe you think it's romantic, but to us, it's like you're choosing to forget the man who gave us life. She snapped, You don't get to tell me how to feel about my relationships. You're crossing a line. My love life is separate from my relationship with you and your brother. I said, You're right, and our feelings about Dad are separate from your marriage. You might love stepdad and want to erase your past, but that doesn't mean we do. She stared at me like I'd just said something unforgivable. She said, Are you serious? You're acting like you can dictate my emotions. You can't. You have no right to be mad at me for loving my husband. The therapist gently stepped in and said, But she's not angry that you love him. She's hurt by what you've said. She's expressing how it feels for her, not dictating your feelings. Mom turned to the therapist and said, That's not the same thing. She's trying to shame me for my love for my husband. That's different. The therapist said, No, it's not. You're both entitled to your emotions. But you can't invalidate your daughter's pain just because it challenges yours. Mom got angry. So, I'm the bad guy now for being in love with my husband? The therapist said, No, you're not the bad guy. But you're not hearing your daughter either. Mom rolled her eyes and muttered, I'm so tired of being blamed for everything. I just sat there, holding back tears. After a few minutes, Mom told the therapist she didn't feel safe continuing the session while I was attacking her character. The therapist suggested we take a break, so I left the room. Now Mom's continuing therapy sessions alone for now, but she always comes out angry. She says the therapist is pushing a narrative and taking my side. She still won't admit that what she says is hurtful. She told me again last week that I'm being disgusting for not appreciating how much love is in our house and how lucky I am to have a stepdad who loves me. She said I should be grateful that she found someone who takes care of me. But all I can think is, I was taken care of before him. Maybe not by her for a while because she was grieving, but by my dad's memory, by my grandparents, by my brother. I'm not ungrateful. I just don't want to erase where I came from. And if loving her husband means pretending my dad never existed, then maybe I can't be the kind of daughter she wants. I love my mom. I really do. She's been through a lot. But sometimes I think she's so desperate to rewrite her story into something happy that she forgets she already lived a life before, with people who mattered. When she says she wishes she'd never met Dad, she's not just talking about her past. She's talking about me and my brother's existence. And that's what she doesn't understand. I'm not mad that she loves my stepdad. I'm mad that she's trying to rewrite history and pretend the first half of her life didn't happen. And I don't know how to make her understand that without sounding like I'm attacking her. So, am I the a-hole for being mad at my mom for saying she wishes she met my stepdad sooner, so she could have only dated him?